Hey everybody, Coach Jason here from Top of the Line Running. I hope you're all doing well. So, I'm going to start a series now. I'm going to do my favorite workouts for today. I'm going to do my favorite workouts for the 800 meters. Okay, and I've got. If you look at my channel, if you're not, if for some reason you're a runner or a coach or aspiring coach and you're not sub to this channel, I highly encourage you to do that right now before you leave. Okay, you'll know exactly when I go live. You'll know exactly when I put out content. You have direct access to me. Blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my personal email. You can reach out to me for whatever reason. Okay, when it comes to running, you want to discuss any one of my 500 plus videos, we can do that. Okay, if you need, I talk to a lot of folks. I mentor a lot of coaches and runners as well, and whether it be coaches that have athletes that are stuck, like some of my athletes are improving, some of them are not, and then figuring out what needs to be done to get the other athletes moving forward too. The individualized stuff, the coaching with the eye stuff, the communication stuff, right? And I have all the coaches that want to develop middle distance runners and distance runners, but are working for programs primarily predicated upon sprints and jumps. So it becomes a little bit of a challenge when you either have um, lack of numbers or lack of resources. So how do you do that, right? So these are all important parts of the puzzle. Okay, this is why I give you direct access to me for types of stuff like this, so we can talk about it. Okay. I want to help empower you to empower your athletes. Okay. But today we're going to go over my favorite workouts for the 800 meters. Again, before I get to the slides, always a good warm up, drills and strides. Okay. And then a transitional rep. This is up to you to decide whether you want to do a transition rep, but I found over time that a transitional rep puts you in a position to maximize the workout itself, puts you ahead of the game. What do I mean by transition rep? Let's just say you're doing short, fast stuff. A transitional rep of 800 meters to a 1K, and some people prefer a mile, that's fine, at tempo pace. Then you take a 4 to 5 minute active recovery, and then you get into the workout. You can even do a quick stride or two after the tempo rep as well. But that helps elevate your heart rate and transition you into the workout itself, puts you in a better position to maximize the workout. Okay. On the flip side, if you're doing tempo runs and thresholds and other longer type reps, 2 to 3 times the 200 meters at the goal pace of the workout with a 200-meter jog recovery is that's the transition there. Okay, helps you find the pace before the workout starts, so you're not having to use part of the workout to find the pace. Okay, if you want to maximize the full volume at the full pace, these are the types of things that allow you to do that. These things are hidden secret weapons, in my opinion, that I've used with a lot of success for my athletes, and I hopefully hope that you'll consider using them as well. But now let's get into the meat and potatoes. Okay, let's get into some workouts. Okay, workout one, as you can see, 500, 400, 300, 200. Okay, at 800-meter pace or faster. Okay, now again, you do your warm up, your drills and strides. You can do your tempo rep in the beginning. Okay, and the 500 is going to be at your current 800-meter pace. Your 400, you can take a 4 minute recovery. Then your 400-meter rep is going to be at your goal 800-meter pace. So let's just use 2 minutes as an example, and you're at 202. So the 500s are like 116, 117. The 400s here in 59 or 16, something like that. Then you take a 3 minute recovery after the 400. Then you run the 300 a little bit faster, second or two faster per 400. And then you take 2 minute recovery, and then you run the 200 at a little bit faster than that. So your slowest pace for this workout is your current 800-meter pace. Everything gets faster after that as the reps get shorter. You can even do on the back end, you can do another tempo rep of whatever you did at the beginning to help flush out any junk you might have in your legs, any lactic you might have in your legs. This is a race specific workout. It's a good workout to do pretty much anytime in the season. I've used it early season. I've used it mid and late. You can use it at any point in time. But if you really want to see how sharp you are, this is a great workout to do that. If you really want to put some lactic in the legs and flush out lactic in the same workout, add that tempo rep on the back end. Okay, that's workout one. Workout two is race specificity. Okay, this is something you can do about 2 weeks out from a goal race. 4 times a 400 with a 4 minute recovery at your goal 800-meter pace, or 5 times 300 with a 3 minute recovery at your goal 800-meter pace. Okay, some athletes might be better off with the fours, some athletes might be better off with the twos, but you're doing about a mile's worth of volume at your goal 800-meter pace. That itself is a testament to good fitness, improved fitness. Okay, and again, this is something you can do your tempo rep in the beginning, to elevate the heart rate. You can do a tempo up on the back end if you like to do that too. You don't have to, but I highly encourage the tempo rep in the beginning to help you maximize the workout itself. Okay. So there's your race specificity. That's something you can do pretty much any season. And lastly, here we've got tempo run or threshold reps. Okay. Tempo, a long continuous run at a sustained heart pace, comfortable heart pace, building towards 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. Now, I'm going to get off the slide for 1 second. If you're going to look at any one of my videos on my channel, I've got a video on how to build incrementally towards a 20 to 25-minute tempo run. 20 minutes essentially for half milers who step down, 20 to 25 minutes for half milers who step up in distance, or milers who step up in distance. Okay. Um, but it teaches you how to build into it in pieces. Because a lot of times the expectation is we gotta need to go out and run this 20-minute tempo right now. And then people start falling apart. That means that's a telltale sign they're not ready for that tempo. So why not build into pieces, let them adapt to it, and get to the point where they don't have to slow down during the tempo, and they run the pace at exactly that you want them to run for the tempo run. So just something to keep in mind. If you're going to look at any video, please look at that one. Okay. Now back to it. Your continuous tempo or threshold reps, either being 5 to 6 times an 800 with a minute recovery, 4 to 5 times 1K with a 1 minute recovery, 4 to 5 times a 1200 with a 1 minute to a 75-second recovery, and 3 to 4 times a 1600 or a mile with a 75 second to a 90-second recovery. This is at all at threshold pace, which is essentially about 8 to 10 seconds faster per mile than your tempo run pace. Okay. And then whether you're doing a tempo run or threshold reps on the back end of the workout, you can add 4 to 5 times a 200 with a 90-second recovery at 800-meter pace. So if you're looking to run 2 minutes, you're running these in 29 or 30. And the reason why I give them 90 seconds recovery afterwards because they're fatigued from doing the threshold reps. They're fatigued from doing the tempo run, one or the other. It simulates the end of a race when you're tired and you need to maintain pace or try to accelerate. Well, that's exactly what this does. Okay. And again, you can alternate. You can do tempo 1 week, threshold the following week. It's completely up to you how to lay out your training. Okay. We can talk about it. I actually do meetings with coaches to help set their training up. I'm more than happy to help you out if you need that type of assistance as well. Now, so there you go. You've got your early season fitness tests, you've got race specificity, and then you've got tempo run or threshold reps. And a tempo run, your 15 to 20 minute or 25 minutes, that's your anaerobic tempo. Okay, your anaerobic threshold tempo. Generally, it's done at half marathon pace. The longer aerobic threshold, aerobic tempo, is 30 to 60 minutes, and that's generally a marathon pace, which is about 15 seconds per mile slower than half marathon pace. But for intensive purposes here, for as a middle distance runner, I would stick with the anaerobic tempo, 15 to 20 minutes, in some cases 25 minutes, or the threshold reps. And again, you can alternate them. You can go over distance with threshold reps and not have to worry about fatiguing yourself like you would race pace reps. It's a different recovery factor. Okay. Now, my last slide, VO2 max training. This is another important part of training for half milers and even milers. Okay. That not a lot of folks do. And if you can figure out how to combine your VO2 max workout with either tempo or threshold, and then you do some mile 800-meter pace, and then you do 800, 400 pace, you have a well balanced training program. And you're set up to move up, you're set up to move down, you're set up to do a lot of things. But here are examples of VO2 max training for 800-meter runners. Number one, 4 to 5 times an 800-meter at 3K pace. This is essentially a 1-to-1 work ratio. So if you run the 800s, let's just say 240, you take a 240 recovery. You run them in 3 minutes, you get a 3-minute recovery, and so on. Same thing applies to 3 to 4 times 1,000. The same equal recovery at 3K to 5K pace. Okay. If you run the 1,000-meter repeats in 330, you rest 330, and so on. Then you go 3 to 4 times 1,200. Same rest recovery. You run the 12s in 4, you take 4-minute recovery, and so on at 5K pace. Okay. And if you look up the volume, it's essentially 5K worth of volume at 5K pace. Okay. A little bit more, 3K to 4K worth of volume at 3K pace. You can go a little bit more, but not too much. And lastly, 2 to 3 times 1,600 at 5K pace with the same active recovery. And if you're running the 1,600s in 5 minutes, you take a 5-minute recovery. Okay. But VO2 max running is as complementary to tempo and threshold running as 800-meter pace running is. And if you can figure out how to lay out your training that includes all these, I highly encourage you to consider it. Okay, take a look at my training programs, by the way. I've got dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon workouts for the 800 meters. Okay. And I have dozens and dozens and dozens of workouts for the 1500 the mile, which is going to be my next video. So, again, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Okay. So we don't miss this type of stuff. All right. And then I've got dozens upon for 3K, 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon. I'm going to do that whole entire series. And then we're going to do milestone stuff. Workouts for a sub 2 minute, 800, workouts for a sub 5 minute mile. And if you have any questions, any requests, leave it in the comments. Okay. I'd like to have dialogue with you. There's something that I haven't put out that you want me to put out, just ask. Okay. This is about empowering you. I want you to have as much information as possible if you're a coach, as much information as possible as you have if you're an athlete. And I want to make myself accessible to you. I want you to find value in the content. Okay. And you let me know what you find value in. And if there's something that you would find value in, I'd be more than happy to put that together for you. So those are my favorite workouts for the 800. These are definitely important workouts to incorporate as well. Okay. A well rounded training program. You're going to be a very dangerous 800-meter runner. Okay. Whether you move up to the mile, whether you move down to the 4x4, and so on. Whether you're on a 600, 1,000, the 1,200 like in a DMR, you'll be able to do all these with a well-rounded training program. With all the workouts that we talked about today, you'll be able to do them all. Say, I'll see you next time for my favorite workouts for the 1,500 and the mile. See you.